Well, I've got that nasty COVID virus, so it's time to work on some trains. I'm smiling. Here. Okay, so my project that I'm going to start working on is this Union Pacific, what we call a bathtub hopper car. Bathtub hopper because it has this, basically what looks like a bathtub down underneath it. And these cars, I've got, I think 5 or 6 of these already, 5 of them, well now 6. And I always like these. Where it's painted yellow here, in the real world, there's a rotary coupler on this end of the car. And what happens is that the car will be filled with coal. It comes into its hopper, or I don't know if hopper is the right word, but basically this big machine, the car comes in, and then the car is flipped over like this to dump the load out. And then it comes back like this. And so you'll see on one end of the car there's yellow, and then it's black the rest of it. It means that on this end there's a rotary coupler. There's not a rotary coupler here, but there's a rotary coupler on the other car that will be next to it. This car came without a load in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some foam. This is a piece of foam I was using for some other things. And I'm going to cut it and get it to the right width of the car. And the length is actually pretty close on this piece here. And then I'm gonna probably stack another piece on top of this one, and then we'll add some shape so we get our load going. Okay, so that part's coming up. Okay, so here we are at the workbench, and we're gonna get ready to make this coal load. So it's just a piece of foam, and I was actually using this to hold some pins that I use, little wooden sticks to uncouple couplers. So I was looking at this and I go, this is about the right width. So it's a little wider than it needs to be. So what I'll do is I just kind of measure here, get this lined up, and we want this fairly close. It doesn't need to be perfect. Very few things in this life are perfect anyway. Okay, and then I'm just going to draw a line on this side. And then I'll draw it again. Okay, put the car down. So I've got a pretty good idea about where I need to cut. Now, styrofoam is one of those things that's messy. So there's different ways to do it. You could use, this is not too thick and it's not super thin. So it's gonna cut pretty well. What I'm gonna do right now though, I'm gonna take my ruler, and I'm just going to kind of go along that edge there. And I'm just going to push my ruler down. Kind of like slicing. Now, if you have one of those hot knives, or hot wires, excuse me, you could do that real easy. So now I've got an even better line. And then let's take, excuse me as I reach across here. And forgive me, I'm a little plugged up with COVID. And then I got a fan going to keep me cool while I'm working out here because it's a warm day. So now I'm just going to take my knife. Now this is an X-Acto, okay, hobby knife. I don't know what number the blade is. They come in different numbers. And well, it actually says Excel, so maybe that's a different company. We're so used to saying X-Acto. But all the same, this is a hobby knife and it'll cut really well. It's going to do what I need to do. And here we go. So I'm just going to sort of cut along the line that's already there. And once again, you know, if this doesn't come out perfect, that's okay, as long as you get what you, now see, look, see the mess I made? Okay, and then just dust it off a little bit. Let's see how this fits in the car. Believe it or not, it is just a little too wide. So, oh no, what do we do now? Well, it's not that complicated, right? There's a few things you could do. You can kind of just, I'm just going to rub like this. Now I'm making a mess, okay? But that's why you have a vacuum cleaner and a broom. And let's see if we're a little bit closer to fitting. We're getting there. Not quite. If you look, you can see it's a little bit, so here. Okay, so let's just keep rubbing it. And I'm going to try just kind of squashing it in a little bit. I don't want to be too aggressive because you'll break. It's just styrofoam. It'll break, right? We don't want that to happen. So we are just about there. I'm going to take down here. It's a little wider than it needs to be, right? So take it out. And then I'm just going to trim off a little bit. Okay, and once again, kind of just rub it. We're really close. I'm not 100% happy with it, so I'm gonna, I think, make a few more adjustments. But the basic idea is, see, we're gonna get, I'm sorry, forgive me, I've been getting out of the frame of the camera. We're gonna get it in there like that, okay? And then what I wanna do is come along and try to add a little bit of shape. So quite frankly, I'll probably just leave that in there. And then I'm gonna put a little bit more foam on top. I might use something like, hang on a second, I'm reaching across. I might use something like this and put it on top, and then kind of come back with some sandpaper and sort of shape that so that it's not just sitting in there flat. Normally when these things are filled, they go in and this big scoop, yeah, it might be, hand in the way, but this scoop comes down and the car goes and it fills it like that. So, okay, I'm gonna tinker a little bit more with the fit on this, and then I'll be back. Okay, I want to show you one more thing you can do. This is sandpaper, and I've got it on, this is one of those, this is actually not real wood, it's one of the plastic lumber or composite things, and I got this as a sample years ago, but I usually use it as my sanding block. You just take a piece of sandpaper, and I'm not sure the grit, this seems like it's kind of an aggressive grit, so I'm not going to go real hard, but you can sand your styrofoam. Okay, and then we'll bring the car over. Let's see how that's doing. Still a little tight fit, so I'll sand it some more, very lightly, okay? And you may want to play around with different grits of sandpaper. This was just a piece that was sitting on my workbench, and I just picked it up, so it doesn't matter. Whatever works. A lot of these things, there's no super science to it. It's model railroading, so, you know, experiment, figure out what you like to do, and use that technique, okay? And then if your technique works great, share it with the rest of the world. That is an awesome fit. I think I'm going to take a little bit more off and get it closer, a little bit closer, but that's fitting in there real good.